So when we get dysregulated as well, one, it can be scary for our children, and two, we can't help them regulate. I love the saying, I don't know who said it, one of the executive function coaches, the strongest nervous system always wins.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to my podcast, Renew Motherhood. My name is Blanka Falk. I'm the host, and I have got an incredible guest here, Una Archer. And we have got a topic about raising confident kids, the secret to navigating tantrums like a pro. Una, I'd like to hand it over to you. Please briefly introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And yes, how do you come to this topic?
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you remotely. And Blanka, thank you so much for having me. I guess in introducing myself, I'd like to say that my journey to this topic started years and years ago when I was studying educational psychology. And during that time, I've learned a lot about what can go wrong with development and how to diagnose it. But really, what I got curious about was how can we support children's development in, how can we create the conditions where we support, their full expression, fullest unfolding? And that question stayed with me for a number of years, and it led me to attachment theory and emotional security and confidence. And that's why we're talking here about today.
Yes, and I love this topic so much because attachment parenting and really to catch your children when they get highly emotional. So this is so crucial. And I did it wrong with my first child too. I thought, okay, I have to put some pressure on her to direct her the right way. Yes, getting to know more of this topic and having 3 more examples to learn from. I think it's crucial to talk about this. So why do you think is it so important for parents to stay calm, especially during high stress moments like tantrums, which toddlers usually have?
Yeah. So many reasons. And when I think about tantrums, I think about them in terms of what's happening in our nervous system. So for when a toddler has a tantrum, they might be overwhelmed, they're quite dysregulated. And what we want to do in those moments, we want to co-regulate rather than co-escalate. And when we lose our calm, and by the way, we're all human. It happens. Ruptures happen. Maybe we'll talk about it later. It's okay. It's not like point a finger or shame or like induce more guilt. It's all part of parenting. And but I hope we can talk about those moments when, we don't parent in a way we really want to and learn from it without going into blame. So when we get dysregulated as well, one, it can be scary for our children, and two, we can't help them regulate. I love the saying, I don't know who said it, one of the executive function coaches, the strongest nervous system always wins. And it's true. There's another quote that I love. Anxiety is contagious and so is calm. When we are in that calm, regulated place, our children can calibrate to us. So that's what's happening on the nervous system. They can kind of exhale and relax. And also, when we think about it relationally, when we can't stay calm, when our children are losing it, what they're learning is that it's safe to experience those things. I can go there. I can feel anger, frustration, whatever's going on. And that person that I trust will stay with me. It's okay to share that. And that's such a beautiful relational gift. Anyway, I can't go on and on and on. I'll pause here.
Yeah, so yes, we like to listen to this because it's all about this topic, right? So what comes into my mind is just, does it have, yes, we all as parents have different personalities. So one is yes, emotional or is more, how do we say, intense. And another one is calm by nature and doesn't talk loud, doesn't speak a lot, and is introvert, actually. So
Yeah.
do you think this has an impact on the children too? Or is this different to say, okay, stay calm, doesn't have to be a part of your personality? What would you say? Is it a part of personality or is this something different?
Well, I think it's beautiful that we're all different. It's a gift. And I think part of what I'm excited is about when parents feel confident enough in who they are to share that with their children. And for me, staying calm in itself, it's not a goal. The goal is to meet our children's attachment needs. So staying calm is like a stepping stone, because when we are calm, we can notice and we can recognize what our children need, and we put ourselves in a better position to meet their needs. But then there is a quote from Circle of Security Parenting, which I use in my work a lot, and I love that. And I hope it will answer your question. The question is, when it comes to parenting, does it get the job done? Does it meet the need? And, so there are three main needs that our children have to feel secure with us, and then as an extension to feel more confident in the world, is to have a secure base. So we showing up as a secure base for our children, most important need. The second need is to receive comfort. When their emotional cup is empty, when they are dysregulated, scared, confused, when they need to come into us, can they come into us and get that comfort? That's the second need. And the third need is to receive support in their exploration. So when they're feeling safe, secure, confident in their skin, that need to come into us changes into an opposite need to go out and learn something, experience something, engage with the world. So then our role shifts, becomes very, very different. What they need from us is this create that safety to go out and say, okay, I give you my blessing, go and do, explore, learn, experience. And so that's kind of in a nutshell how we strengthen the security. First, we show up as a secure base. We welcome our children when they need to come in, and we support their exploration when they need to go out. Obviously, in the real world, it's more complex, but to answer your question, there's so many ways to do that. And, regardless of your temperament or values or parenting school of thought that you subscribe, you can find a way to meet your children's needs in a way that resonates with who you are.
Yes, that's beautiful, I think. So we have to get to know ourselves very good, so that we know if we can create a safe place for ourselves, then our child is able to connect with us. Well, it's always connected to us, but it just flips over, I think. We can pass this on the children too. What would you say about this?
Yes, what you say, research shows that parents' sense of safety, it's a bit like you can't pour out from an empty cup. So parents' sense of safety is one of the key factors contributing to attachment security in a parent-child relationship. But in my experience, it's a messy process. Like none of us are perfect. None of us are able to meet our children's needs all of the time, and it's okay. But the beauty of it is that if we're listening, if we're paying attention, our children are masterful at where we can grow. So, for example, if I'm not comfortable with anger or shame, when my child experiences anger or shame, I know it's okay, this is not comfortable for me. And then I can ask questions, how can I grow my comfort zone around anger? How can I learn to get comfortable with my anger, with my child's anger? And that's that piece of self-understanding that you're talking about.
Yes, that's great. I love this. So how does our emotional response then during a tantrum shape a child's ability to handle emotions later in life?
So if you imagine when our children are babies, they depend on us for regulating, all of their physical needs, all of their emotions. We are there, like we are comforting and soothing them. And then through that experience, first of all, they settle as we comfort them. And then as they grow, they develop more capacity and they have more options. So one is, with our regulated presence, we can still help them regulate what emotion, whatever emotions they experience. They learn that it's okay to share them. They learn that it's safe to feel them. And then as they experience that over and over again, they develop the capacity to self-regulate. Because as they grow to the nursery, to kindergarten, to school, we're not always around. There might be a teacher that can help regulate, but that's not always available. As they grow, also, they might not always want us to help them regulate. They might choose to take themselves off and deal with it by themselves, which is fine. So that's how it happens, through repeated experiences of co-regulating and them coming back to that place of where they feel grounded and balanced and like their usual selves. They learn to self-regulate, and that's what we want eventually for our children, to have those options. So when they're adults in the world, whether with their partners, whether with their friends, they can co-regulate with others, but they also have an option to self-soothe depending on what they want, what the circumstances are, who's available, who's not available.
So you would say that if they are in kindergarten, school, or someone else is available, it's not a need to be there as a parent, right? So if there is another person who could help to regulate, they will take it. Is this what you would say? Or
in
depending on the child?
Well, depending on the relationship. Because saying that, statistically, we know that about 60% of children grow up experiencing secure attachment with their parents. So 60% of children will feel, okay, it's safe for me to come in to my parent and seek that comfort. And through the experiences, they have
not
learned.
So much, is it? 60%?
Oh yeah, well, and I hope that statistic is changing. And yes, there is sort of, according to that, 40% of children do not experience that secure attachment, and that's like one of the driving reasons behind what I do and why I put so much energy into that. So, but if we come back to your question, then 60% of children experience that at home, and then when they're in the kindergarten, they will have more tools to form that relationship with, it's kind of the kindergarten teacher is there to be the secure base for the children when they're with the teacher. And so if that relationship is there, then when the child is in the kindergarten, in the ideal world, they would come back to the teacher to fill up their cup and regulate when they need that.
Yeah. Yes, this is good to know for the kindergarten teachers too, right? To know that they have got a responsibility there, not only to say, okay, everyone is safe, but also to regulate their emotions if needed, if something's going on, and there is a lot going on.
There is a lot going on, especially in that I don't think we talk about it enough. As kindergarten teachers, they are attachment figures for the children in their classrooms.
Yeah, that's it. So what would you say? Just go into some practice here. Coming back to the parents again. So what are 3 quick techniques a parent can use to calm themselves in the heat of the moment? Because if I remember when my first child I don't know if I would say it was a tantrum, but she was so refusing to go with me. So just picking her up from the kindergarten and she says no. And you try to move her and she says no. And she runs the opposite way. And you're just thinking, what's she doing here? And you're running after and catch her. And I thought, so, okay, I just got her under my arm and just carrying her. But
Yeah.
I didn't catch her emotionally. So it was a physical attack. Actually, the only thing I was thinking of, because I didn't want her to run back. So what could I have done better in this moment, or what could
Yeah.
me bring down?
Yeah. 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 Well, first of all, I want to offer some empathy to you. It's just such a tricky situation. You know, especially transitions are tricky. At the end of the kindergarten, she might have been, so her cup might have been quite empty. Also, with the pickup, when other parents are there and you feel observed, and you know, your child is the one who's not behaving, it's just so hard to kind of keep that calm and stay grounded. Yes. And in terms of the techniques, you know, I think once you've kind of got your daughter under your arm and you know that it's safe and you took charge in that moment, which children need, one of my favorite things, and it kind of seems so simple, but is to come back to the breath and especially just slow down the exhale just a little bit. And that helps send the signal to the nervous system that it's safe. I'm safe. And it helps to come back in the body. It helps to come back in this moment, into this moment. And sometimes I even imagine, because if I put myself into your shoes in that situation, I would have a lot happening in my mind. You know, I would think like, you know, why is she doing this? Blah, 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 blah. I would kind of, with a breath, I would dive out from that busy cloud of thinking into this present moment. Just kind of just put all that thinking aside and just, okay, I'm here, just reconnecting with my body. Does that resonate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I can just imagine how this would have shaped the moment. Because coming down first, I wasn't able to give her the safe space, right? So this is the first step that I felt lost, and because I didn't know how to handle the situation. And it wasn't actually about thinking what others are thinking about me. It was, how can I deal with this? How can I get her back? What's she doing? Why is she running away? She should be, yes, glad that I'm coming and picking her up, but she just didn't. And all those, yes, thoughts, like you said, running in my mind. So I think if I would have been safe, she probably would just be connected and come to me to feel the safe space.
Yeah. Well, children don't always come, even if their cup is empty and they need it to be topped up. You know, if she was, how old was she at the time?
She was about 3 years, I think. 3
Okay.
or 4 years maybe. So around this.
Yeah. So, you know, there could then be like all sorts of things. You know, maybe she was wondering like why you left her there.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, you know, a bit confused. Can I really come in? And, you know, there can be all sorts of things happening. So, yeah, it's not always straightforward that when their cup is empty, they would just come to us. Sometimes they push us away when they need us the most.
Yeah, actually, she is a daughter. She really did a lot, just push me away. Yeah, I think it started really with the birth.
Right.
When she just wanted to get out and get back and get out and get back. I thought, oh wow, first baby. What's happening here? So sometimes I think these moments in giving birth, they are just, you can see this through the whole life, can't you? How they entered the world is how they deal with so many things in life. Would you agree to this? Do you have any experiences around this, or can you reflect on your own?
I've heard that, and I wonder about that in terms of my own birth, because my birth was very quick, but I can't comment on it from attachment perspective because I haven't come across that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it was just a side step here.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to think about that.
Yeah, so coming back to our topic, right? What would you say to a parent who feels like they failed to stay calm in the past?
I'm just still thinking about your previous question about this whole perinatal experience in the
Okay.
womb and all that. I can't add anything, but I'm sure there's stuff, so I don't want to just kind of dismiss it. I can't comment on it. Sorry, could you repeat your next question?
Yeah, sure, sure. What would you say to a parent like me who feels like they failed to stay calm in the past? Sometimes I still feel guilty about this because getting the knowledge, how should I have done better or could I have done better? And still, it's the
Yeah.
first one, it's the prototype. So I did a lot of mistakes with her. I think it's a mistake, but it's a life journey. It's a lesson, really.
Yeah.
But yes, could you give, yeah, what would
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to reframe that. I would not see that as failure because we all lose with our children. It just comes like as a package of being a parent. And so what we call that in attachment theory is rupture and repair. When we lose it, when we lose our calm, lose our patience, shout, or become unavailable, and we might not shout, we can become unavailable in different ways. For example,
Yeah.
by withdrawing. So that's rupture. And it happens. And in Circle of Security, when I was training, there was this phrase that really stayed with me. Ruptures are inevitable, repair is optional. So if we have those ruptures over and over again and we don't repair, then it has a detrimental effect on the child, on how they see themselves, on your relationship. But if we have a rupture, if we recognize it and we repair it, it's a beautiful experience for you to have and for your child to have, because it offers opportunities to learn that things can get messy and we can figure things out. Our connection is stronger than that blip. And then if we talk about it and think about, okay, what happened there? Let me help you understand. How did we get here? What did you need? What was going on for you? So these are all the questions that we're asking either ourselves if our children are really young, or with talking through with our children as they're getting older, because guess what? Teenage years, hello. So when we repair with our children, we are teaching them probably the most valuable relational skill, because they learn how to repair with their friends, how to repair with their partner. Because imagine if we never lose it, if we never repair, they go out into the world, something happens with their friend, that's it. They will probably think the friendship is over.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, and well, actually, she's now 19. So it was a long time ago. But when I look back, how her life looked like and what she's doing and how she is able to help her friends, I think, okay, something is, yeah, I just don't have to think about being guilty in these moments, because like you said, if there was an ability or an opportunity to say, okay, I can repair here something to strengthen our relationship, and I always did, I always tried, I always went into this. So yeah, I think she wouldn't be able to go to her friends and to be there for them if this was a, how would you say, disruption,
Without
and
repair, yeah.
yeah, without repair, right? Oh, that's wonderful. Helps me to say, okay,
Yeah,
let go of this.
exactly. Yeah, it gets messy. It's okay.
Yeah. So what do you think kids' confidence is more affected by how we handle mistakes or how we teach them to handle their own?
That's such a good question. I don't think we can teach our children what we don't practice ourselves. Yeah, because with handling mistakes, I think is that capacity to stand back and reflect without blaming yourself, to learn, to to course correct. If I had to choose one, I would say by how we handling, and I don't, maybe, I don't even know if I would learn, like, call it mistakes. Okay, fine, let's call it mistakes. Let's not be afraid of this word, because so much of what we learn, especially in our early years, is this implicit learning from experiencing and watching. And
that's actually a tool. The school system, well, my kids are on a quite private school here with a different system, and they say learning through doing, and yes, with heart, head, and hand, actually. So there are more things involved than just telling them what to do, right? So really that they can learn. What's one piece of advice you'd give to a parent who wants to start anchoring their child's emotional confidence today?
That'll be that will require some work. There is no quick fix. So I just want to start with that.
What a pity.
Yeah, sorry, there's no, I don't have a magic pill. But I would say observe. So we have 6 core emotions, and I hope I'll remember all 6. Anger, fear, sadness, joy, shame, and excitement. And it's just an example. You can go with any. But if you observe which one of those emotions are uncomfortable for you, it could be shame, When your child is ashamed, they're either not sure, or it could be anger. Anger is commonly, like, quite uncomfortable. I often parents get in touch, say, like, I want my child to stop being angry, which, we can definitely talk about. But why I'm saying this, the more we can welcome our children's emotions, all of them, the more emotionally confident our children will be. So we edge towards that emotional confidence by welcoming our children's emotions, by creating that space where it's okay to experience that. I'll still be there. I'll still be present and available to you as you experience all sorts of things. And when we notice what's uncomfortable for us, if we can grow our own zone of comfort around that particular emotion, we create an environment where our children can share more of that with us.
That's great.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Well, for me, it makes sense. I hope the listeners can understand here and follow us, because I think this is really, it seems really important to step into your emotions. And I know from my past, I'm able to disconnect from my emotions. And this is not so nice for my children, because if they can't read me, they can't step into their emotions, right?
If they can't read you, they can't step into their own emotions. Interesting. I don't know. I would get curious and explore about it. I guess it's about how it depends on how they are experiencing you when you disconnect from your emotions. If they pick up on that, what kind of signals you send to them. It really depends and that's the beauty. We don't have to be perfect. We don't have to have our stuff figured out perfectly. You might disconnect from I don't know, but I imagine a scenario where you disconnect from your emotions, but you can still be present for your child and not squish their emotions as they're expressing them.
It's like zooming out, it's zooming out from the situation and say, okay, I don't mind what I'm feeling now, but I can still see I'm not withdrawn or something. I'm here, but I don't feel what I feel anymore. But I can see the situation, and I can get into this. So sometimes it helps a lot. So if a little one is injured, it happens. And I know a lot of women or mothers panic, just in panic. Okay, what to do? And I can stay calm, because it's not a calmness. It's, I don't feel what I feel now. I don't connect to my, I don't know, worries, doubts, fears, or anything. But so that I can see what are the facts here? What do we have to do now
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get this situation solved?
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift, but it's also a temptation sometimes if you're not able to get back to your emotions.
Yeah. 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 Sometimes we have to put aside our stuff so that we could be there for our children.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to create opportunities for us and maybe seek out those relationships where like we have a secure base for us where we can come back and explore what's going on for us. Because the more we do that for ourselves, the easier it is to do that for our children.
Yes. Yes, so true. So, what would you say, what's a role of self-compassion in staying calm as a parent?
What's the role of self-compassion in staying calm as a parent? I think one of them, I think I would kind of rephrase that a little bit into in staying maybe present or available to our children.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that can get in the way of that is blame. When we're blaming ourselves, we're going into guilt, we go into shame, and we can just spiral out. And when we're in that place, it's really hard to be there for our children. We don't feel like, we have a lot to offer to them. We can, I don't know. Anyway, I think I've kind of expressed it. And so self-compassion can help us. I come back into the place, okay, maybe I messed up. I'm not really the parent I would love to be yet, but I'm still here and I'm still showing up. And, in my messy way, kind of parent from the sense of what I'm offering to my child is good enough. It can help us, that self-compassion maybe can help us relax a little bit more into being present with our children. And I think that is like such a huge gift that we can offer to them.
Beautiful. Yes. I think this is a gift that we can offer to them. Wow. I love this. Okay, so time runs out. We could talk forever. I still have a question for you. So, because concerning time and I know we have got parenting journeys and it's not made just, even if I wanted sometimes the magic wand to say, woo, let's go with this. So, but if parents only have 5 minutes to reset their emotional state, what's the most effective technique they can use? You mentioned it, breathe out.
Yeah.
Would you say there is another one, or would you?
I would say it depends on their starting point. Because we might be like agitated, we might be in fight, we might be like, and if we want to come down, then we need to match that. And, it could be like hoovering or running or, if we just need to like let that energy out. And so because we reset gradually from where we are at to where we want to be. So I don't think there's one answer, but I would say just see where you are and just see what you can do. Just take it one step towards where you want to be.
Yeah.
On the other side, if I'm in freeze, I'm just like, I can't move, Yeah. Then maybe I need to like,
shocked.
Yeah, it can be. Maybe I just kind of, do some wrist circles, for example, to come back into my body and to say, okay,
oh, wow.
This is my body. I have some sensations. So here are 2 examples, and obviously there's many more, but I think the starting point is to check in. Did my energy go up? Did my energy go down? And which direction do I want to go into?
Oh, that's cool. I haven't heard about this wrist cycles. I think this is cool, just to reconnect again.
It comes from, if you want to learn more about it, I've learned it from, there's a neurosomatic intelligence school by Elizabeth Christoph. That's where I've learned it. So it's fascinating and it's really helpful for practitioners and parents to, if you want to learn more about your nervous system and how to regulate it, that's the place I would go.
Oh, wonderful. That's cool. Thank you for sharing here. So if people say, wow, Una is so incredible, to learn more from you, from Una Archer. Where can they find, what do you offer, and where can people find you? Let's talk about this a little.
Yes. So I offer Circle of Security parenting courses where we look at everything that we sort of touched on today, but in a much more systemic way. We cover everything that we know so far from attachment research that you need to know to meet your child's attachment needs. And you can find me at helpyourchildthrive.co.uk. That's my website. And what I can do, I can share my getting to know you form. If you have a question, if you want to chat, the best place to start is to fill in that form. And then once you've done that, you'll get a link to book an initial consultation, and then we can have a chat and take it from there.
That's great. I will place everything in the description so that people can find you and reach out to you, because I think it's so... I love to spread this message about attachment parenting, because I think this is really a way to go. We have got the past, and if we look in our history, what parents... Yes, how parenting was actually in the past, in the history. We have moved a lot, but we now, I think we're close to get the next step, do the next, so that our next generation can really move into another field and act differently and get more things done in a better way, I think. So I'm so grateful that you joined me here on my podcast. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me, Blanka. It was such a pleasure to chat with you. And thank you for listeners who were listening to us and joining in our conversation from their homes, cars, walking their dogs, who knows, anywhere.
Yeah, from all over the world.
Great,
thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
Yes, and to all the listeners here, please stay tuned, subscribe so that you don't miss any episode.